Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Happy many return. The first day of the month Ramadan has passed, and we fasted it, and we hope and pray that Allah accept our work and our deed. We will start, inshallah, the talk in the month of Ramadan by looking at ourselves and increasing our will in the month of deed, in the month of righteous action. And it is the month of strength to be obedient, to stay within the guideline of Allah and be on the right path. And raising aspiration and coaching the soul to the best of form in order that shortcomings or inadequacy would not be associated to it intentionally, and no slur or insult would be directed to it. It is an obligation, duty, and what Allah loves from every Muslim all the time and all places. Very important to manage our soul, manage our spirit to be on the right path at all time. And that's what Allah is expecting from us anywhere, to be obedient, to submit to the will of Allah, and to be mindful of the divine laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. About the love of Allah to this will to be on the right path, it was narrated by Imam al-Hakim and al-Bayhaqi on the authority of Shah ibn Sa'd al-Sa'idi, may God be pleased with him, that he heard the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, saying, Allah is generous, loves generosity. Allah is generous, loves generosity. So that what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want from us, the generosity in everything, generosity in goodness, generosity in obedience, generosity in being confined to the straight path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, Allah is generous, loves generosity. He loves high conduct and accomplishment and hates the lowest of everything. Again, Allah, that's the Prophet said, Allah is generous, loves generosity. He loves, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves high conduct and accomplish and hate the lowest of everything. Allah hates the lowest of everything in any deed. To do the lowest, to do the minimum is not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves in any way. So it's a clear hadith from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Again, the hadith say that Allah is generous, loves generosity, and He loves high conduct and accomplishment, and He hates the lowest of everything. And the road to high aspiration and accomplished is difficult. Naturally, the road to high aspiration and accomplishment is difficult and challenging, and no soul will reach it except the soul that stay away from the lowest of conduct and aspiration and strive to the highest and the best of achievement. So very, very easy, very logical, inshallah, that the road of aspiration and accomplish is difficult and challenging, and no soul will reach it except the soul that stay away from the lowest of conduct and aspires to the highest and the best of achievement and the highest and the best of everything. And not everyone who seeks the high standard and follow the high conduct that Allah loves is successful. Not every one of us want and aspire to this high of conduct is successful. it becomes effortless to whoever work hard and struggle in the way of Allah. So the one who work for the way of Allah will find this striving to the highest aspiration is easy road with no difficulty, with no obstacles. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will enable that servant to love what Allah loves, work hard to please Him, stay away from sinful desires, and seeks a good reputation and nobility in this life and in the hereafter. So it is all a blessing and a guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the one who is lucky loves what Allah loves, work hard to please Him, and stay away from sinful desires, and seeks a good reputation and nobility in this life and after his death. And Imam is referring to the Prophet Ibrahim, that he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be mentioned for the end of time, and that's his aspiration, that the Prophet Ibrahim, which was there 3,000 years before the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, would be mentioned to this day for his righteousness, for his goodness, and for his struggle for the sake of Allah. So this is the one that it becomes easy for him to overcome the difficult road to honor and nobility. And this is the one who is the master among people. This is the master among people who actually struggle to be on the road of Allah and on the path of Allah. A wise man said that the true master of people is the one who work the hardest. And that is very logical and very easy to understand. Again, a wise man said the true master of people is the one who work the hardest among them. A man went to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and told him, this man is a master of us, he is among the elite of us, but he have some he is a miser. And the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and what is worse than being a miser? He cannot be a leader, he cannot be among the elite among you or among the good among you if he was a miser. So again, the one who is a true master of people is the one who works the hardest. It is an issue that does not come without effort. And most of the righteous among the Muslims, when they wanted to be leaders, they wanted to be leaders in the area of faith. They want to be a leader in the area of prayers and the area of righteousness, and to be an example of others in goodness, an example of others in righteousness. My dear brother and sister, the road of righteousness that we are talking about, with all its difficulty, is the road that Allah loves for Muslim to go through. That is the road that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to see us taking. That is why it is vital for all of us to go through this path regardless of the hardship. Regardless of the hardship, inshallah, let us all try to be on this path. And inshallah, we will start today guiding one another to this high road, to this noble road to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in order for us to follow the road of higher aspiration, we should get to know all the means that help us to overcome the difficulties. These means are two. One is strong determination and ambition, and two is honorable spirit. So And the Imam is referring to the fact that as you do a little, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you a lot. If you try some, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you energy to do more. And that is the key, is for you to start, to be self-starter, inshaAllah. So two means that will help us through this road, inshallah, is strong determination and ambition, and honorable spirit. Because going in that road of righteousness is not easy, is not simple, is not just by wishing. It takes effort, it takes determination, inshallah. And why the first mean was is to have this determination and this high aspiration, and the second, inshallah, is the honorable spirit. With regard to the strong determination and ambition, it is the force, that ambition, that determination is the force that drives the spirit toward, encourages to forward, encourages to accomplish the deed. So that determination is the force, is the engine that drives the spirit, the soul, forwards, encouraging it to accomplish the deed, to accomplish that good deed. And the Imam is referring that what we were talking about yesterday, that when we intend to fast, we intend to the fast in a state of mind of believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his order, and expecting his reward and expecting his generosity. So believing in Allah and looking for what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will provide to us. And when you do things, when you start the fasting with believing in Allah and hoping for His generosity, that is the will, that is the strong will, that is the high aspiration. You are not just fasting because it's a habit. You believing in the orders from Allah, and you expecting the reward and expecting the return in the hereafter. So the high aspiration and a strong determination is the force to dislike being irrelevant with the bad reputation, and dislike being looking small in the eyes of people. So it is a reverse psychology, if you will. If you don't like to be small in the eyes of people, then you have to do good deeds and bigger deeds. You have to dislike being small among others. You hate to be irrelevant among others. That will give you aspiration, inshallah, for to go forward. And whoever has low aspiration will fall behind and will never be mentioned or associated with God and with good and relevant deeds in his life and in the hereafter, and he is not among the ones who are thanked for their accomplishment. So it's very clear and very easy and very logical to follow the sense of what the Imam saying and what the scholar saying, that whoever have low aspiration, he is lazy, he is not ambitious, will fall behind, no doubt, and will never be mentioned or associated with good and relevant deeds in this life and in the hereafter. And he is not among the ones who are thanked for their accomplishment and their contributions. So the Imam is recounting every area of our life. A scholar will be mentioned for his generosity, providing knowledge. a doctor will be mentioned and remembered for his honesty and for his high ability to diagnose and help others. Every job to be or to seek and to strive to be the best at. Imam is referring to Al-Qawqa', and he's a man that was very strong and very courageous, and he was that was in the time of Umar, and Umar was asking after one battle who who came back from a battle, and they were Omar was asking who was killed in this battle, and they give him this name and this name and this name, and then he's in others that Omar would not know him, and Omar said, and what is the value of Omar, know him or not? It is enough that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala know that they died in his sake and died in battle for his cause. So the one who have the high aspiration will have definitely the biggest chance of succeeding and the best chance of being remembered by others, and the one with low aspiration will not be mentioned, will not be associated with good deed and an accomplishment. Among the advice of Umar ibn al-Khattab, may God be pleased with him, that he said, and it is an advice to all of us, he said, do not suppress or hold back your ambition and aspiration, as I never saw anything that sways you from goodness and good deed more than low aspiration. And then we're talking about the area of faith and the area of worship and the area of pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to strive for the highest, and inshallah will be guided and supported. As Umar again gives his advice, saying, do not suppress or hold back your ambition and aspiration, as he never saw anything that sways you from goodness and good deeds more than low aspiration. So don't look down on yourself. Don't suppress yourself. Always have that high ambition. Always have that strong will, inshallah, to accomplish the best. So the second mean to accomplish a lot, as we mentioned earlier, is to have the honorable spirit. And it is the tool that leads to the highest of etiquette and the highest of standard. This is the honorable spirit, the honorable soul. You will find the honorable soul knocks on the doors of knowledge, seeks to be in the presence of the honorable, combining their best of conduct to his own, until he is known to be righteous, which enjoy the best of good manners and the best of good deeds. So the honorable soul always knocks on the doors of knowledge, knowledge of the faith, knowledge of the guidance of Allah, knowledge of the sign and the road to the straight path, seeks to be in the presence of the honorable, in the presence of the knowledgeable, combining their best of conduct to his own, until he is known to be righteous, which enjoy the best of good manners and the best good deeds. So it rubs Whoever you are around, you will be like. If you are around the righteous and the good and those who have high aspiration, you will be like him. But if you are around the small and irrelevant, you will be among them and you will be on the wrong path. So you always look at your company, look at your of who you are around, so you can inshallah learn from the one who are among the best to give you the energy, to give you the support to be inshallah on a road to a higher standard. And the Imam is saying, you sit in a group where bad talk and irrelevant talk is the most common, you will be you will absorb the same vocabulary and you will absorb the same way of thinking. But to sit among the righteous, to sit among the good, you will always enjoy their best of habit and the best of conduct. The Imam is asking the sisters to move to the back of the extension of the house. And this is the honorable spirit. And this is the honorable spirit that it will be ameen to high aspiration. It will be ameen to good standard and good deeds that will bring you high in the eyes of Allah. So we covered the two reasons to those, the reason or the means to the high aspiration, which again is to inshallah have a strong determination and strong will, and second is to have honorable spirit that always want to be around good, always around those who will benefit and be a good influence inshallah. Righteousness, resolve. And so tomorrow inshallah we will continue talking about the will and the ambition to be in the best of standard and the best of guidance and the best of manners and the best of worship, to push our aspiration to a higher level and to push ourselves inshallah to the best of deed. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters.